The way that most of us were taught to learn things in school is the absolute worst thing to do with respect to getting things to stick in your brain. If you are trying to memorize things by rote memorization, where you repeat the word over and over and over in your head, that is the least likely way to succeed in getting things to actually stick. So I would recommend that you stop memorizing, especially with rote memorization, and start experiencing. Now, what do I mean by this? There are two things that our brain uses to decide whether we're going to remember something. The first is relevancy. This is lizard brain type stuff. Like if a saber-toothed tiger jumps off of a rock to attack you, then you are going to react immediately and very strongly, and you're going to run away. You're going to experience some immediate relevance to your life because you might die. Now you're going to remember forever probably that rock had a saber-toothed tiger on it, and there may be a saber-toothed tiger living there. And it's very important to your continued survival that you remember that. You can't forget that even if you try. So things that are not relevant to you and not relevant to your life that you don't care about are not likely to be remembered. That means if you can get something to be relevant to you and you can get it to a way where it actually has impact on your life and has meaning for you, it's much easier to remember. And you don't have to memorize it, you can just experience it. So the second most important piece other than immediate relevancy is strong emotions. We tend to encode our emotional brain and our memory live right next to each other in our brain, and they have a lot of overlap. So when you have a strong emotion with something, whether it's positive or negative, it can be shame, it can be embarrassment or anger, it can be joy, it can be happiness, it can be sadness. Any strong emotion makes it much more likely that you will encode something into long-term memory. So again, we can use this with language learning. Instead of just trying to dryly repeat something to ourselves, we can give it something emotional and remember the things that are emotional. For example, if you're doing a language lesson and you say something that is totally wrong, and your language partner or your tutor says, hey, that's not right, here's what you meant to say, and you both laugh about it, and you probably turn a little red in the face and feel ashamed, but then you also remember it and you laugh about it afterwards. Those are emotions that make it much, much easier to encode a memory, to have something actually stick. So if you want to stop memorizing and start experiencing, the way to do that is to incorporate relevancy into your language learning. Only try to remember things that are immediately relevant to you. And you do that by remembering things and looking things up as they come up in your daily life. So looking something up that you want to talk to your friend or your language partner about today before you have your lesson, or after you have the lesson, if something went terribly wrong and you said something really dumb, and that's going to be pretty easy to remember because you feel embarrassed that you said that. So working on remembering those things rather than the dry things that did not enter your consciousness, just a list of vocabulary, is going to be much more fun, first of all, and much more likely to be successful when you are learning a language. If you would like to see more videos like this, subscribe below.